Good morning. Today we are looking at packet number 6. It is due on January 21st, so that is next week, Tuesday. If you turn it in to me by Friday, remember you can make corrections to it before you hand it in for good next week, Tuesday. So make sure you're staying on top of that if you want to be able to make those corrections. On our first page, it says, in how many ways can 36 be written as the sum of two prime numbers? So first thing we need to remember is what's a prime number. Who can remind me what's a prime number? Bennett? A number that can only be broken down into itself times 1. Can't be broken down into other numbers that you multiply together to get to it. So the first thing we want to do on this page is make a list of our prime numbers. So we don't start with 1, we start with 2 with those prime numbers. So 2 can only be broken down into 2 times 1. 3 can only be broken down into 3 times 1. 4 can be broken down into 2 times 2, so it is not prime. It is that composite number that we learned about. So we don't want to put 4. 5 is a prime. 6 we can have 3 times 2. 7 is a prime. 8 is 4 times 2. 9 is 3 times 3. 10 is 2 times 5. 11 is prime. 12 is 3 times 4. 6 times 2. 13 is prime. 14 is 2 times 7. 15 is 3 times 5. 16 is 2 times 8. 17 is prime. 18, 2 times 9, 19 is prime, 20 is 2 times 10, 21 is 3 times 7, 22 is 2 times 11, 23 is prime, 24 is 2 times 12, 25 is 5 times 5, 26 is 2 times 13, 27 is 3 times 9, 28 is 2 times 14, 29 is prime, 30 is 2 times 15, 31 is prime, 32 is 2 times 16, 33 is 3 times 11, 34 is 3 times 17, 35 is 5 times 7, 36 is 2 times 18. So those are all our primes going up to 16. The next thing we need to remember is it says sum. What operation are we doing if we're finding the sum, Sarah? Addition. So we need to add 2 primes together to get to 36. So the way I figured it out was I went through each prime and said, what number plus this prime number gets me to 36? So I started with 2. 2 plus what equals 36? Sarah? 34. Is 34 a prime? No, it's not in our list, so I can't count it. Next is 3. 3 plus what gets me to 36? Sarah? 33. Is 33 a prime number? No. 5 plus what gets me to 36? Lexi? 31. Is 31 a prime? It is. It's right here. So we've got the 31 and the 5. So I'm going to write it down here. That's 2 primes. That equals 36. You're going to do that for all the rest of them, making your list of how many different combinations of prime numbers you can get to equal 36. And then you're going to write how many of those over here. Okay, does that make sense? So we're going to call this number 1. We're going to see if we have a number 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to see how many equations we can get using just those prime numbers to get to 36. So you have to finish up and see if any of these numbers that we haven't done yet, if any of those you add another prime number to get to 36. Make your list down below. I'm not going to tell you how many there are because that's answering the question. So you need to write out your list of how many of these prime numbers add to another prime number to equal 36. And then you just write how many there were in your list. Was there one equation, two equations, three equations? How many equations there are in your list using prime numbers? That's what you put over here. Our next page Sally, Fred, and Mickey are busy reading their books. They read a total of 51 books. So if we add all their books up, it's going to equal 51. Fred has read twice as many as Mickey. Sally has read 15 more books than Mickey. How many books did each person read? I like to do my bar graphs, my bar models, sorry, not a graph, bar models to solve these. So I have Sally, Fred, and Mickey. Mickey is the one that everybody's based off of. So if Mickey read this much, Fred reads that same amount plus another of that same amount. And Sally reads that same amount plus 15. All together, it equals 51. So we have 4 equal amounts plus 15. And all together it equals that 51. So if I want to know what those 4 equal amounts are, I want to be able to divide a number up by the 4 to see what number to put in each of those amounts. First I have to take off that extra 15 that Sally had. How do I do that? How do I take off that 15? Adeline? I'm going to subtract. So my first step is that 51 minus 15. So if I do 51 minus 15, how many books am I left with? Emma? I am left with 36. Now, I have 4 equal parts that equals 36. How can I figure out how much is in one equal part? I have 36 books split up equally into 4 sections. What math do I have to do? Bridget? 36 divided by 4. So my second step, I'm taking those 36 and I'm dividing it up into my 4 equal parts. How many books are in one of those equal parts, Liam? 9. So if I know one equal part is 9, what number can I fill into each of those equal parts? Liam? 9. So I can put a 9 in each of those parts. Can I figure out now how many books each person read? So over here, you're going to want to tell me how many books did Sally read, how many books did Fred read, and how many books did Mickey read. So you add up how many books each person read. Adeline. Okay. Next page is our 5-card challenge page. So we do have 2 9s that are on here. So in your equations, you can use the 9 2 times. So you could do 9 plus 9 is 18, and you could subtract the numbers out to get down to that 5. What you cannot do is say, all right, I know 9 plus 3 is 12, minus 7 equals 5. Well, that was the 9 of clubs. Now I'm going to do the 9 of hearts and say the same thing using the 9 of hearts. It doesn't work that way. Okay, that's the same equation. You can only write it one time. So you can't write the same equation saying, oh, but I'm using the other 9. Okay, you can only write the equation one time to count it. On our next page. This is a pattern page. So we need to fill in our number of blocks that we know. We know the first 5 figures. First figure has 1 block. How many in the second figure? Just say it out loud. Whoops. How many in the next figure? 6. Oy. How many in the next figure? Next one? And the next one. So, we've got 1, 3, 10, 15, 21. We have to look at how these are increasing up. To go from 1 to 3, how many did I add to it? 2. To go from 3, oh, we missed one. It went 1, 3, 6, 10, 15. I missed one when I was writing them out. To go from 3 to 6, how many did we add? 6 to 10? 10 to 15? Can we see a pattern of how many to add? We're increasing it every time. Follow that pattern all the way down to figure 10. Our next page is our perimeter and area page. To find the perimeter, you add up all the numbers. There are no empty sides. All the sides have a number on it. So for the perimeter, you just add them all up. And remember, work must be shown. So if you're putting a calculation into your calculator, write it down so we can see what you were adding together. Then to find our area, we're going to want to break it up into rectangles and squares. Because the goofy shape, I can't find the area of easily. So I'm going to break it up into rectangles. That's the way I broke mine up. You can break it up into other ways and add together the areas. That's just the way that I broke mine up. So I know that this is 1 times 6 for that area. So I'm going to put a 6 right there, because that area was 6. Then I need to figure out what this length is here. Knowing that it's from here to here is going to be 1 plus 6, so that's 7. And I'm taking 1 out. So that length is 6 times 1 going down. So 6 times 1 is another 6. Figure out those 2 rectangles, what their areas are, and add all of your areas up. Okay? We've done these on other pages, so that's nothing new. It's just a little bit more complicated of a shape. Our next one, we need to know the volume formula. So, we need to write this down. The formula for the volume of a cone is pi times r squared times the height divided by 3. So r is the middle of the circle to the outside, so that's 7. Our height is how high up to that tip. So if we're going to write in our calculation, that would be pi times half of 7, or sorry, times 7, that is our radius, squared, times 18 divided by 3, because our height is 18. So remember, when we do 7 squared, is that 7 times 2? No, 7 squared is 7 times 7. So you're going to do that math, put your answer here. Then it says the cone is 1/3 of the cylinder, same radius and height. What is that cylinder amount? So you take that answer And because that answer was 1/3, to find the full amount, you multiply by 3. That's the answer we put down here. So you take this answer and multiply it by 3 and put it down below. Our last page is our graph. Remember, when we do graphs, we need to put labels on. So I need to know injury type. I need to know frequency. Put your labels on so we know what the numbers are. We know what the words stand for. Remember to turn it in before Tuesday so you can make corrections. Turn it in by Friday and we can make corrections to those. If you still have questions on pages, you can always come up and ask me. Have a wonderful day.